I asked Skynet to pick a random city in the United States where we could look for used bikes, and it picked Boise, Idaho. Which is why this week we're going with a viewer suggestion of Las Vegas, Nevada. So come with me and let's find out what kind of used bikes we can find in Sin City.
Red light city, gonna set my soul on fire. I got a whole lot of money.
I don't really work on BMXs, but I thought I'd start with this ad because this is kind of what I figured every ad in Las Vegas would look like. This is a 2014 Stranger Day Tripper frame for $150, and the description says $150 or best offer, pickup only. I have this discontinued Stranger frame I've been having for years, never used. It just been sitting on my wall. I would love to keep it for a build, but I don't have time. I love the engraved head logo. This just kind of looks like Satan's BMX. We get a really intimate shot of this gentleman's living quarters, including the bed sheet that's been tied in a knot to let in just enough sunlight as to not offend his vampire roommates. This picture is scary, but it's almost beautiful. I feel like we see an amazing level of dynamic range here, where the camera is capturing a lot of different levels of light as well as texture. In this picture, it's a little bit overexposed, but then we do get to see little pieces of his life, such as the PS2 controller. I guess that's a vape stick. I think that's a shirt or maybe underwear. And that's C4 pre-workout, and some deodorant and a bottle of water. And over here we see the bike hanging up on the wall. I'm not saying it's the case here, but I have only had a couple of instances over the, 15 years or whatever that I've been flipping bikes where I went into a seller's home and felt like my health and safety was at risk. And if you've ever had one of these instances, please share in the comments below, because I don't think anybody really talks about it. And anytime you're going to meet a stranger, there is a risk. But a lot of times you'll meet somebody at their private residence. And there was this one really strange time where there was a guy about 4 towns over, and he was cleaning out his barn, and he had a ton of bikes. I think he was selling about 7 bikes and maybe like 5 or 6 big boxes of bike parts. And he was selling them as a lot, and I was happy to give him whatever. I think he was asking for like $200 for everything. So I paid him, but the thing is there was so much stuff I couldn't fit it all in my car. So I took about half of it and brought it back to my house. And I told him that I would come back in 2 days because I had a lot of stuff going on. And he said that was fine. 2 days goes by, and there's like the stuff that was going on in my life just kind of intensified. So I contacted him and I said, I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be able to make it out there. But if it's okay, I'd like to come Saturday. So this is like Tuesday now. And I didn't hear back from him. The next morning, I get up to make coffee. And so this is like 6:30 in the morning. And I look out in my front yard, and all of the remaining bikes and boxes of parts are sitting on my lawn. And the kicker is, I never told this guy where I live. Like, I would never share that information with anybody anyway. And yet somehow he found me. And on one hand, I guess I kind of appreciated him bringing the stuff. But on the other hand, it was kind of terrifying knowing that this dude just tracked me down and then dropped this stuff off. So I'm not really sure how to feel about that. But there's been a couple of instances like that over the years. Not that exactly, but where like I would just get these vibes. And I guess it just comes with the territory. And I'm not saying that that's happening here or that this guy is part of a coven of vampires, but it is something to watch out for. There were a lot of specialized bikes in Las Vegas for some reason. And here we have one of them. This is a vintage Specialized Hard Rock 26-inch bicycle for $120. So yeah, so there's basically like three models in this era, which is the Hard Rock, the Rock Hopper, and the Stump Jumpers. And the Hard Rock was an entry-level mountain bike, lower-end components, chromoly frames. I guess they don't get a lot of respect, but they're still amazing bikes in my opinion compared to other bikes out there. Slightly higher was the Rock Hopper, and I think that was characterized by like lighter frames and better components. And then on top of that was the Stump Jumper, so that was like the flagship bike. Really good components, really good butted frames. So let's see what we got here. This is a nice example of it looks like kind of an earlier Hard Rock. Looks like it's in good shape. Components look very solid. You have the thumb shifters and those motorcycle style brakes that will last forever, and I'm sure they're doing just fine. Cantilever brakes, I'm sure, are in good shape. Based on my experience with these bikes. We have an aftermarket Viscount saddle. It's kind of funny because you see a lot of these like random saddles from other bikes, and you often, for some reason, you find a lot of Viscount saddles. In fact, I just got one, and also Next saddles and Terry. I don't know why I mean, maybe it's just me, but this is an '87 Specialized Hard Rock custom gauge chromo mountain bike with Viscount Terra Nova seat, rare and high value find. Tires need air replacement. Message me for more information. I think that this is a pretty good deal. Looks like they might be in the middle of a move, so who knows? They might be motivated to go. And over here we have a vintage Nishiki City Sport 53 cm Meeks step through Suntour 7-speed. I can't resist looking at a Meeks. I've said it before. I like this bike. What a nice picture. I think that they did a great job. You could probably crop out that top bit, and then get rid of all of the stuff in the background. But this is really nice. Yeah, if you've got a big wide street in front of your house, it looks good. The paint job looks really good. Just no rust on the components, that's one thing that I found really common in these Las Vegas ads, and I guess that's what happens when you're in a desert. Effectively, it's not like looking at bikes here in New England where it just rust everywhere. Those great thumb shifters, chromoly. There are those nice down tubes, lugs, but it's kind of interesting how this is a one-by setup, and I think that's perfect for the city. I think Nishiki Marketing did their homework. I bet they sold about 100 of these, kind of a limited use case, but it's really nice. I like it. I think this is like the perfect city bike. So here's the video. The seller comes with pulls out wide, and then we get a nice side view, and then things start to turn. And I'm not sure what's going on here. Like why he thought that the orientation of the camera should be sideways like this. I don't just keep it straight, my dude. So we're still sideways. The videos are nice, but I think that there's a right way and a wrong way. It starts off really well. It's very cinematic. This is a Specialized Hard Rock. Pretty good components, XCM. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of lower in the range, but it's still higher than most bikes that you're going to get out there. I think that's either some sort of generator or something. I thought that was a shipping container, but I think that's like a generator in back. This is the Sport Edition. Chromoly tubes, nice triple crankset, cantilevers, just very solid all around for $140. I think these, I think these are great if they're the right size. Vintage 20-inch aluminum frame. Everybody thinks they have an aluminum bike. Seat adjustable, new grips, ready to ride. Brand new 26-inch tires and tubes, wheel tuned, 21-speed, chain clean, lubed. Yeah, for a bike that's been tuned up, and if you have new tires, because the new tires are going to be at least a $50 value, it's a great deal. And if you see these, scoop them up. All right, here we have a Bicicleta Diamondback Ascent Tange MTB, $120. Again, with the smash cut to the tube sticker, Tange mountain bike, MTB, double butted tubes. Okay, so we have this picture, then we have this picture, then we have this picture. So we have three of the same pictures. Then we have, I don't know, like, I don't even know what happens, because when you post a picture on Facebook, like, you see what pictures you're uploading. So they would have known that they did this. I don't know what's going on there. Here's a decent close up. Take the helmet off. I don't know what that rosin. I would assume that rosinol is like that's like a strap that you can put on your skis and stuff. So when you're carrying them to the lodge, they don't like split up on you. I'm not sure why he would put that on here. The reflector is missing. Yeah, you could just take that off pretty easily. These are the worst bike lights. The batteries die and you can't change them. I've had a few. Cantilever brakes. It's a big frame, so you get that really long brake cable, which I'm not super fan of, because I feel like the more that exposed, the more that you're going to get oxidation issues. You got big fork eyelets. Just really high quality. I mean, it's just, everything is super high quality, in my opinion. Made in Taiwan, exclusively for Diamondback. Got the triple chain ring there. Tires look to be in decent shape. Got a tin of Danish butter cookies. My aunt used to give us tins of butter cookies whenever we'd visit. Inside the Danish butter cookies, you have like this multi-selection of them. And it's funny because they're all different shapes, but they're all just exactly the same cookies. Some have like a little sugar on them. And they're pretty good. I think I usually went for the swirly ones on the bottom there. I would eat those first on the ride back from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. For $120. Yeah, if this is your size, 100% out. $275. Let's see what they say. Bike's in good condition, but needs tires fixed. They are flat. Bike was left to me by my roommate. I'm selling it to settle his debt. Ooh, this is a good ethical question. Is it okay to sell someone else's bike if they owe you money for rent? I have to say, I tend to avoid these situations. Actually, one common scenario I've gotten is like, I just got divorced and I'm selling my husband's old motorcycle. Anyway, that doesn't work because you need to get the title, at least here in Massachusetts. But yeah, I tend to stay away from this because I don't want to get involved in any of that drama. I don't want some random person calling me and saying, hey, that's my bike. Not worth it. And it is especially not worth it for $275. Yeah, and surprise, here's another Specialized rock hopper. So, a little better than the hard rock, but not quite as good as a stump jumper. It's a nice looking frame. We got the cat in the picture. And a lot of times people be like, cat's not included. That's the big joke on Facebook. I love this bike. I think the color is so cool. I think the handlebars are really nice. The saddle's all right. Lots of really good parts on this. Looks like they upgraded to the linear brakes. And, you would have had to have cleaned that crank set. So, from the pictures alone, I'm thinking this person's a bike person. Nice old Rockhopper comp built up to be the commute bike. Has bull moose handlebars with decent rise and a slight sweepback. 3x7 Dior drivetrain in great condition. Sure is. I swapped out the cantilevers for V-brakes so they feel great and stop better. I think that's an okay upgrade. Cantilevers can be fine, but fairly new tires, 195, ergon grip, synthetic leather saddle, flat platform pedals, rear rack. I pretty much built this up with the intent to ride the snot out of it, but ultimately decided to thin my big bike collection and maybe build something different. Yeah, so this person's a lot like us who, they can buy a bike for $50 and turn it into something worth a lot, but then, you only have so much room. There's only so much room. You got to have room for your cat and your 6,000 water bottles. What for $250? If you're a bike person, you can get one of these for $50 and build this for another 100. If you're not a bike person, yes, 100%. I guess it's high time for a tall bike to be featured on this channel. This one's a tall bike for $80. Nice tall bike frame, aluminum. I also have a steel frame. Yeah, this is this is specialized. I'm gonna say that's a rock hopper. It's kind of hard to read that. It's kind of tragic what they did to this. So yeah, this is originally owned by Slenderman, and it's a rock hopper. And then the bottom bike, I don't know what that is, but I have a feeling it's up. It's like it's got the stamp dropouts really cheap. Ooh, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I've never ridden one of these bikes. I mean, I see people on them occasionally. I don't know how you get on or off of them. I guess yeah, if you're going to Burning Man and you want to ride around this and wear a feathered boa, go for it. Who am I to say? It looks like a monstrosity, but I guess that's the point. Over here we have a green touring ATB for $100, down from $150. Yeah, it's a really nice mountain bike. Nice dark green, almost looks black in the pictures. We have the Suntour. I think that's maybe like a Cyclone long cage derailleur, 3-piece triple crank set, cantilever brakes, nice saddle. Tires look good. Handlebars look really nice from this angle. Handlebars look less nice from this angle. And oh, this is a nice look at that fork. I think they call it a biplane fork. Very solid. This is probably not the latest bike in the world, but it's a really nice bike. Again, I get bike mechanic vibes from this person because only someone would sell that would build this like for themselves, I think. Don't know the maker of the frame, but is in touring ATB with relaxed geometry and longer base wheels. Okay, so if anybody out there wants to theorize on what this is, just like my blue mystery bike, please feel free. If I had to put my money down on it, I would say maybe like an old Schwinn High Sierra or something. It's a little ugly. No, it's not. But fully functional bearings have been serviced and repacked. Shifts well. Is set up with a 3x7 with friction, Suntour power ratchet, thumb shifters, canty brakes, and upright sweepback bars. Fairly comfortable sitting position. 26 2.0. If you need something that will get the job done, it's a really cool bike. It'll last forever and can do anything, except win the Tour de France. Pictures are okay. Like this is one of those where like if they took really good pictures, and definitely not included this angle, they'd probably sell this immediately. Very nice bike. Here we have a vintage mountain bike. I think this is probably from the 90s because we have the suspension fork on there, which is facing the wrong way, and also the brake cable seems to be detached. The brand is Yokota. And I have to admit, I thought that was like, again, like co-opting some Native American tribe. But when I looked it up, Yokota is like the name of a Japanese Air Force base. So I was like, oh, you're off the hook. And then I looked up Tulumne, and that is a Native American, so sort of Native American word. So yeah, so the cultural appropriation is intact. Okay, so what do we have here? There aren't a lot of pictures here. This is in pretty rough shape, but it's really interesting because like as rough as it is, it's still not like, it's not overwhelmed with rust the way it would be in New England. It's just kind of like old and dusty. Yeah, I don't think that I would ever purchase an old mountain bike with suspension, because the thing is with suspension is you have to, there are like fork seals that keep like the oil and stuff inside the fork lowers from like going up into the tubes, and you wouldn't be able to see it because they have those rubber boots on them. But if you were to lift that up, you'd probably see a fair bit of oil, which means that the seals are dried out and like the oil's leaking up. And I think for like, if it was like a motorcycle, you'd typically be able to buy a new set of seals and rebuild the forks. But for these old bikes, you're never going to get that. So that's why I wouldn't do that. And it's really hard to switch out the forks because you need to buy forks that are adjusted for that height. And especially if you need a threaded fork, that's really hard to get. I wouldn't be surprised if those shifters weren't working either. So I think that this is, yeah, it's 40 is not, I don't know, it's pretty cheap. Good condition, brakes work, chains intact, tires deflated, bike has minor scratches. Please look at all photos before messaging. I think that this is, I probably wouldn't go for this, to be honest with you. I'd spend a little bit more, get one of the Specialized. So here we have project bike size medium, $20 down from $100. Whenever you see project bike, you know you're going to get a story, because they're basically saying, like, don't expect to ride away on this. This is, yeah, it's an old mountain bike. It looks kind of cool. Mintech Teton. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they have this U-lock, and it's locked to a pipe, but the pipe doesn't seem to be like closed off. So I think that you could just walk away with this bike, but I'm not sure it's worth stealing. I get a strong bike mechanic vibe on this, because this is the kind of dumb bike that a lot of bike mechanics will build, like, and just keep in back of the shop so they can go get a sandwich on it and stuff. Yeah, sweep back bars. We've got a single speed setup. And then, yeah, and so this is what I was saying about, like, aftermarket styles. It's either Viscount Next, or like a Terry saddle. Don't ask me why. Yeah, so there's like the pipe. You're not, yeah, the pipe. That pipe's not gonna protect your $20 bike. Read description: non-running project bike for sale. Project bike clunker, a 1990s mountain bike from Mint Trek, size medium, converted into a single-speed coaster brake style. Does it have a coaster brake? With front handbrake. Coaster, I think it's like a coaster brake style, but not a coaster brake. The geometry is very comfortable for flatland riding, male or female, 5'4" to 5'9". A great example of fun, simple summer bike with room for improvement. Seat post with shock, newish tires. The crank is seized. That could be, I don't know. I'm assuming this is a bike person, because they seem to know what they're talking about. If the crank is seized, yeah, I guess there's some problem with the bottom bracket, and you're gonna have to go in there, and you better pray that you're gonna be able to get that bottom bracket out. For a clunker bike that's been sitting out in the rain, that could be a problem. So yeah, this is about taking chances, or getting ready to pour about 5 hours trying to get a part off. Hey, thanks a lot for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the subscribe button, or the comment button, or the like button. And while you're at it, drop a comment below and make a suggestion for what city we should take a look at next. Thanks a lot.